has been so long getting to this day where we could assure that Breonna Taylor life wouldn't be swept under the rug like so many other black women in America who have been killed by police, marginalized. So I'm grateful to the actions of the city of Louisville today. And it is not just the historic $12 million settlement, which, as I understand, is the largest amount ever paid out for a black woman in a wrongful death killed by a police in America. And Lanita, I believe it may be the largest amount ever paid for a black person in a police shooting. We're still trying to verify that. And it is certainly, Tamika Mallory, one of the largest amounts ever paid out for any person in the way of settlement in a police killing in America. But the comprehensive reform that the Louisville Metro Council and Mayor Fisher put forth is equally important, because this is about setting a precedence. When my great co-counsels from Kentucky, Lanita Baker and Sam Aguiar, first talked to me about this black woman who had been killed in her own apartment by this no-knock warrant, they were very concerned that nobody cared. Nobody cared about this black woman. Nobody cared about Tamika's baby. And that's when I started calling everybody I know to say that black women's lives matter too. I remember calling Reverend Al Sharpton saying, "Can I come on your show?" I remember calling Ricky Smiley saying, "Can I get on your radio show, your national radio show?" I called Tamika Mallory and my son and her team at Until Freedom. I called Senator Kamala Harris. I mean, I was saying to anybody who would listen, Breonna Taylor life matters. And Senator Kamala Harris was the first national elected official to go on national television and to say her name, Breonna Taylor.
All right, sorry about that, guys. I had to stop that. So much to talk about, real quick. I'm not on camera because it's dark in my office. But anyway, so much to talk about. Listen, I'm not going to undermine the fact that Breonna Taylor's family deserve they deserve reparations, aka a settlement. They deserve it. I think $12 million is way too low, right? I mean, you had 3 race soldiers went into her own home. These guys right here, these race soldiers, all 3 of them fired at Breonna Taylor. And they're still living their lives. Have not been prosecuted, have not been arrested. All right? So just because of that fact, right? Breonna Taylor's family deserve way more money. Not only money, but they deserve not only money, they deserve to make sure that these race soldiers are arrested. That should have been the first priority. The first priority with this settlement, and which I think is just to pacify the family, to keep them quiet. It's just hush money. Because I'm thinking, and this is me thinking because it's based off of history, that these race soldiers who executed Breonna Taylor will either get a slap on the wrist They'll get prosecuted, but probably get 3 to 5 years in jail, or maybe get probation, or the trial somehow uh, goes in their favor. So I do believe that one of those two things will happen, and that's based off history. We've seen it, so it's nothing new, nothing surprising. And because of that fact, I think, of course, the money should be way higher, way higher. But again, the main priority with this settlement should have been making sure that these race soldiers were prosecuted and arrested. Me personally, I would not accept any money, any settlement, any reparations until these race soldiers are arrested and prosecuted. Okay? They're still on the streets, still living their lives. The cops that killed and executed Breonna Taylor in her own home with the no-knock warrant executed Breonna Taylor while she was asleep. These race soldiers, once again, need to be arrested. They're still out on the streets living their best lives. That is disgusting. That is truly disgusting. Right? So, like I said, I really think that this settlement was just to pacify Breonna Taylor's family. $12 million is a lot of money, but at the end of the day, it's not enough, especially for what happened and the traumatic effect on this towards Breonna Taylor's family, and a traumatic effect on Black society as a whole. Because this not only affects Breonna Taylor, this affects Black society as a whole. Study epigenetics. Anytime something happens to you that affects you indirectly, it still affects you. So there's still psychological trauma that Black society is still facing after over 500 years from the transatlantic slave trade. So we still suffer from cognitive dissonance, post-traumatic slavery disorder, Stockholm syndrome. Right? Epigenetics, being affected by your surroundings, being affected by your everyday lives. And this is one of them. This is a very traumatic effect, a very traumatic psychological effect that affects Breonna Taylor's family and Black society as a whole. So they definitely deserve way more money than $12 million. But, they got a settlement. That's cool. But guess what? These race soldiers are still out on the streets, still have not been arrested, still have not been prosecuted. That's the main focus. That's the main priority. So, I really hope that what I'm about to say is wrong, because I think, again, that Breonna Taylor, that this money, this settlement was to pacify and keep Breonna Taylor's family docile, so they won't speak up against arresting these cops, these race soldiers. Again, that's the main priority. I think Breonna Taylor's family is going to be hush. Don't get me started on Attorney Crump. All right, I need to do a whole separate video on him. Not a big fan of Crump at all, Attorney Crump. I'm not a big fan of him at all. He seems to be the poster child for any situation that happens to a Black family in terms of gun violence or police brutality that happens to a Black man, woman, or child. He seems to be the poster child lawyer, or attorney rather, for anything that happens to Black society. And I don't think he does a great job at all. Period. But I will definitely do a separate video on Attorney Crump. But anyway, back to Breonna Taylor. Yeah, man, this is the main focus right here. This is the main focus. Arrest and prosecute these race soldiers. Put them in handcuffs. Right? And again, the settlement is cool, but these guys are still out in the streets. Right? And not only that, how do we prevent another Breonna Taylor from not happening? How do we prevent that? Do we have any laws in place to make sure that this doesn't happen again? Any reform, any tangible changes that's going to protect Black society from this happening? Right? That should have been the agreement for the settlement. Unfortunately, I don't think that they had that kind of conversation at all. Right? So anyway, those are my thoughts on that, family. Leave your comments down below. Let me know what you guys think about Breonna Taylor's settlement of $12 million. Is it a lot of money? Do you think they receive? You think they should receive more? Is it good enough? How do you feel about the race soldiers still being out on the streets, not arrested? Leave your comments down below, family. Till next time, GMOG Media TV signing out. Peace.